Hello, this is the course of computer programming, and I'm going to continue with the next chapter, which is about arrays. For this PPT, I will explain about the arrays. Oops, I forgot to change this one. Yeah, it is about arrays and arrays styling and arrays text processing. So let's move on to the next, which is about arrays. And for this array, I would like to have one example, which is about how to analyze the numbers. So for example, I want to read 100 numbers and compute their average and find out how many numbers are above the average. Okay. So I have one example, analyze numbers.java. So I gave you one zip file, so you can open those file. Yeah, in my computer, I will go to my file. Okay. Yeah, I have the computer programming, and I have this. Yeah, so the section 6. Okay. You can just copy and paste for all, and then you can open your Eclipse and create a new uh, package. Okay. And then let's name it as section 06. And after you have section 06, you can just paste all those files here. Okay. Once you have all those files, open the analyze numbers. Yeah, you can see this is the code. If you check this one, the java.util scanner, you have the variable input. So yeah, if you see this, it seems like weird. Okay, why we have the java.util.scanner? Yeah, basically it is the same. If you assemble, you just do the import java.util. Okay, yeah, that's the same. Okay, you can use the scanner, or if you don't want to import, then yeah, you can just call directly the java.util scanner. So it is very specific, and you want to make it as the input. So this is the variable input that you are going to use, and we have a problem. Enter the number of items, and you have the items as uh, the number of items as the input, and for example, and then you will have n as the numbers here. So I will explain after this. And you will have another variable which is sum equals to 0 as the initial value. And for every time you input the numbers, you will go to this section, you will enter the numbers, and you will do the loop. The loop will be from 0 until n. For every I, you will input double value. So every double value that you inserted into this variable, so that will be sum, or that will be added into the variable sum, and then finally you will do the average. And then after I do the average, I would like to know which number is greater than the average. So I make a new variable which is count equals to 0, and after that I loop again from I until n, and for every numbers that is greater than the average, do the plus plus. So count plus plus means I want to add the numbers. After you have those numbers, then you will print the average is something, and then the number of elements above the average is this one. Okay, so what does it mean actually? When we have the numbers, okay, you already learned that you can put one variable into the you can put a value into one variable, and then you can compute and you can compute here. But if you have these numbers, okay, you have the numbers 5,6, 4,5, 3,3, 13,2, 4, 34,33, and so on. So if you have those numbers, how can you add those numbers if you have only one variable? Okay, so maybe you may have idea like this one. Okay, so let me just give you an example. If I want to make a new class, let's say example array. Okay? If you have, for example, 10 data, what will you do? Are you going to say like integer data 1, let's say 10, and integer data 2, let's say 20, or integer data 3, let's say 30, and so on? Are you going to put more? Yeah, if you have 100 data, are you going to say that, yeah, I will input one by one until this is 100, for example, 150? Are you going to do this one? It will be very tedious if you want to make many variables. And meanwhile, we know that those numbers are the same data type. So in order to avoid this repetition, we can use the concept of array. Okay, array is a data structure that represents a collection of the same types of data. So if you have the data which have the same data type, then you can use array to represent the collection of the data. For example, now I have my list. Okay, my list is the variable and it is a double. Okay, so the value will be double, and I would like to make it as a double value with the size 10. It means there will be 10 places, okay, and all of the elements are double. So we have the elements 1, 0, the elements 1, the element 2, the element 3, element 4, and so on. And after we have until 9, then we will finish that one because we cannot do more variables. So with this one, okay, you will change the variable name every time, and you will compute those variables independently. But using this kind of array, it will be different. You have only one variable, which is my list, okay? And you can also check the location. So for example, this one, location 0, location 1, location 2, location 3, location 4, location 5, and so on. Okay, so using this example, yeah, this is also the same example, only we have a different way to, if we have only the different numbers of this one, but it's the same example. We want to know how array can works to compute the average and how to get the element which is greater than the average. Okay. Now we need to understand how can we declare the variables. So the variables is this one, and when we have the variables, we need to mention about the data type. And when you use array, you need to define the square bracket. So this is the square bracket. For example, I have double, it is the data type, and then the square bracket indicates that it is an array. And we have the variable name, which is my list. When you want to have a different way, for example, double, and then you have the variable name my list, and then you put this, the square bracket. This is okay, but it is not preferred. So it means you are not recommended to use this way. So it's better to put the square bracket after the data type. And when you create a new arrays, it means you will do with the variable name, and then you need to say new. Okay, new means you want to create a new object. And what is the object? The object is my list, or yeah, you can set the name anything. And the name my list will be a collection of double, and there will be 10. Okay, so 10 indicates the size. If you have 10 size, it means the number that you can put on the array, there will be 0 is the starting element and 9 will be the last element, because you know 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so total, if we start from 0, there will be 10 elements. And if you use the element number 10, then it is error, because you only define the size equals to 10. Okay, so you can access using this array, this square bracket, and this square bracket should be after the variable name. If the square bracket is after the data type, then it is a definition. So you want to know the size, or if you want to know that this is the array, then you need to put in front of the data type. If you want to include the data in one array or in one line of statement, so you can use like this one. I can define the double with this square bracket, and then this is the variable mylist, and I want to make this mylist as an object of array where the size of the array equals to 10. So this is, yeah, this is the same. Oh yeah, I have 2 times y. Yeah, anyway, when you declare and create the array at the same time, then you can follow this one. Oh, this one is a little bit different. Okay, the difference is here you can put the square bracket after the variable name, but of course, as I mentioned to you, it is okay, it's allowed, but it's not preferred. Okay, it's not recommended. And when you have array, you can get the size. Yeah? What is the length? The length means the size. If you have array and you know the size, then yeah, the size is fixed. The size is fixed and it cannot be changed. You can find its size using the variable name of the array dot length. Then you can see how many elements in the array. For example, if I use mylist.length, then it will return 10 because we have 10 values. The default values in an array, so when an array is created, its elements are assigned the value of. Let's say if you assign integer, then it is started with 0. Okay? If you start with character, then it will start with this character under \u 0000. If you are using the Boolean types, then the original or the initial value is false. What about the index? Okay, so the index itself, it shows the you want to access the data, and the data can be accessed from the index, which is a zero base. What is zero base? The zero base means the index will start from 0. So some programming languages, they require the starting index from 1. But Java, they require 0 as the starting index. So when you have 0 as the starting index, it means the index can be from 0 until n minus 1. Or we can say it is for the array var length var.length minus 1. Okay? So when you have this array ref var.length minus 1, of course you want to get like from 0 until n minus 1. Okay. So the list, we have the double of the 10 double values, and the indices will be from 0 until 9. So it was from the previous figure. Each element in the array is represented using the following syntax known as the index variable. So we have the array name or the array variable name, and then we use the square bracket. So this, after you have the square bracket, okay, you have the square opening and the square closing, and then just mention the index. The index should be integer. When you know the index variables, so it will be easy for you to do some operations. For example, I would like to know the my list in index 2. So the index 2 will be a result of index 0 plus index 1. Okay, so using this following code, then you can easily do with some other operations, not limited to the mathematical operation, but we can also do with other kind of operations. So basically, one index or this one, okay, it can be said as a variable. So one variable with one value. So this is another variable with one value. This is another variable with one value. But all of those are the array with the name of my list. So we have only one variable of array. So let's see the my first array.java. If you have my array.java, my first array. Yeah, this is the my first array. Okay. So we have my list, and the my list will contain the data double data, and the size is 10. And after we have those, so you can check the element that you want to insert it. Like for 5.6 will be in the index 0, 4.5 will be in the index 1, and so on. So after you finish with those assignments, so we call this is the assign value. So I would like to know the length. What is the length? So we know that the size is 10, so the length will be 10. And if I want to access the index 2, then you will see 3.3. If you want to do the calculation my list 2 equals to my list 0 plus minus 1, then yep, the index 2 will be updated. Now the new value will be shown here. What is the new value? Maybe like 10.1. Okay, so you can check 10.1, then you will see the new values. And when you want to see all the other elements, then you can just do with the for loop. I would like to start from 0, and then let's do the loop until the length. Okay, so what is the length? The length means the list size, the my list size. So we know that the size is 10, then it will be a loop from 0 until 10. Whenever you have printed the element, so just increase the I with 1. Okay, so if you run this, yeah, okay, so you have 10, 3.3, 10.1, and so on. Okay, and you can see the first number, which is 2. Okay, maybe it's not that clear. Maybe this one is, you can just put blank. Okay, and then this one number 2. Okay, and then let's say I have this one number 2 new. Okay, so you can distinguish them. So the length is 10, and then the number will be 23.3, and then the number 2 new is 10.1. Okay, so if I can return back to the first example, okay, in the first example of array, so if the so if you check this one, yeah, it's the same. You want to loop from 0 until and then for every number that you inserted, you will do the summation. Okay, so every numbers that I inserted, just do summation. And after you have the summation, then you will do the average. And again, I would like to check the number in index I. So the index, it means the particular value which is located in the particular index. So if we know that the number is greater than the average, then let's just do the count plus plus. So this is our intention, to get how many of the values which is greater than the average. When you have arrays, you can also do like this one. Okay? So you can use the curly bracket. So the curly bracket means the initial value of the array. So I do not need to put the size. In previous examples, you need to show the size. Let's say I want to set 10. Okay? But here you don't need to set anything. But using this data with the curly bracket, I know that the size is 4. How? Yeah, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the data itself representing the size. In order to fit with the uh, definition, then you can just give the curly bracket, so Java can identify that those values will be inserted into this my list, and the size will be automatically assigned as the number of this data. So if you check, oh, I guess it's not here. Yeah. Oh, sorry, initialize array. So you can open the initialize array. Okay, so we have this one. In this case, I know the data and I put it on the curly bracket. And if you want to run this, yeah, basically it shows the same result as what we already saw before. If we have every element with the array, then you can just print it. You can do with the shorthand notation. It means these numbers you can just put in the curly bracket, or if you want to specify with a very specific number, it means, yeah, you can use the traditional way. So double minus new double 4. So there will be 4 elements. Minus 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and then we have 4 elements. And every element we will insert it into the minus 0, 2.9 into the minus 1, 3.4 in the minus 2, and 3.5 in the minus 3. So before we continue more, so please remember, okay, please remember that when you do the shorthand notation, okay, you have to declare, create, and initialize the array all in one statement. So this should be in one statement. So if you split this like this one, yeah, it will be wrong. Okay, so you cannot do this one. So you need to do something like this one. This is correct. Okay. So yeah, I guess this material contains the examples when you have the array, what will happen. Okay, so if you are checking this, so this is the array which has the size 5. So when you set the size 5, then we know that this is integer, so the values in every cell will be 0. So now we are making the loop I from 1 until 5. So if I, which is 1, is less than 5, which is true, then values I equal to 1, I plus values I minus 1. So what is value I? I is now 1. So 1, yeah, we will update with the new value. So I means the 1 plus values I minus 1. So 1 plus 0. then result will be 1. And then next I will do the plus plus, check whether the number is still less than 5. So the next will be I is 2, okay, and then 3, because we know that values I minus 1, so it is the value here. Okay, so when you have this value, we want to add the value which is 1 plus 2, because now I becomes 2. And after you check one I plus plus, again you will check if the I is still less than 5. And then I will like to put the numbers here. Okay, the numbers here is 3, and then it becomes 3, I equals to 3, and the values I minus 1 is 3. So the new value will be 6. And then code I plus plus now becomes 4, and 4 is still less than 5. Yes. I have the value 10. Why? Because 4 is the I, and then 6 is the value here. So 4 plus 6 equals to 10. So the value of I will be 10. And you will do the I plus plus, and then you will check this condition. After you check the condition, and you will update the value index 0. The value index 0 will be the same as value 1 plus value 4. So the previous value is 0, and it would like to plus with 10. Oh, sorry, 1. 1 is 1, and then 10. So 1 plus 10 equals to 11. Okay. Okay, I guess I will stop here, and I will continue the next thing with the other video. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. If you still have any issues or problem, just let me know by email. Thank you.